So today I'm going to talk about the epidemic of restriction. Restriction of the energy of our soul. Restriction of the energy of our soul is the cause of all of the problems in our lives. Restriction of the energy of our true desires, our true inclinations, our true promptings, how we want to express ourselves, the denial of our emotions, the denial of our childhood perceptions even. The denial of all of this reality is the cause of complexities, of physical ailments, of addiction, of financial problems, right? And I am coming from a place of, I have walked a journey where I did have cancer. I did have a lot of body parts removed 10 years ago, which was a very traumatizing experience. I have experienced incredibly painful episodes of deception. I have experienced addiction. I had bulimia for many years. And what I have found, right, in traversing all of these experiences is that they are all simply symptoms of not being authentic, of me not living my soul, of me not knowing who I am and expressing it into the world. All ills are caused by the repression or the restriction of the soul, period. So the first thing to understand about the repression of the soul, right? The first thing we have to stop repressing is how we actually feel about things. Stop trying to be spiritual, stop trying to be happy. And certainly I am a big proponent of breaking the emotional addictions to low emotions, because the truth is that most people, 90% of their lives are in negative emotions, and that is not natural. But it is what is. So we have to work with the fact, right? The fact is that parts of our minds, right, childhood perspectives that we have in our being are terrified of life, do not trust life, feel powerless, feel helpless, feel infuriated, feel abandoned, feel hopeless, right? So first we have to stop repressing that reality. Stop repressing reality. If the reality is that I feel completely powerless in a situation, how do I stop denying that? I completely, in the energy of my soul, let myself feel that feeling. And that helplessness might feel like panic. It might feel like jitters. It might feel like fire in the solar plexus. It might feel like the need to urinate. It might feel like adrenaline dumping into your colon. It might feel like a number of things. But until you become conscious to the perspective that's actually trying to complete itself, the past is trying to complete itself, it's trying to liberate you, until that reality is no longer denied, it will just continue cycling through your life. And the stronger you try to deny it, the stronger it will fight back, because it's trying to liberate you. It's not trying to hurt you. So the first thing of stop restricting the soul is stop restricting how parts of my mind really feel. And this requires that while we can disidentify from the mind and observe it, right? My experience, and take this or leave it, I will not simply disidentify from the mind and watch it play out. I allow myself to completely feel the feeling part of the mind, and I allow it to burn up. I allow myself to completely, with my heart and soul, feel how terrified I feel, how hopeless I feel, how helpless I feel. And in that loving awareness of that energy, it tends to repurpose itself into creative energy that you can use for intentions, right? Because what throws you out of the present moment is your denial of your current psychological reality, period. Meditate as hard as you want, right? If you do not allow yourself to acknowledge and feel energy that's inside of you, right? a perspective and an energy that's inside of you, it will continue to manifest itself in your life in twisted ways. That's step one, to no longer be in denial of how parts of my mind, how fragments of my mind are literally vibrating in various states of understandings. And if I allow that understanding to be present when I'm in my heart, the understanding automatically raises its energy into a present moment awareness, which is that whatever was happening back then, it's not happening now. So that's the first thing. But how else do we restrict our needs, right? I have told a story that I have healed from many years of bulimia. And one of the key factors of healing from that was not only unconditionally loving myself in my darkest hours. And granted, my life has taken me to some pretty deep darknesses in my life, partly because it's part of my soul's desire to teach, right? How to bring love to these areas, because you can only you can only stay as high as you go low, right? So I've always taught that the real work is the light work, right? Because to the extent that you pour light into your being, the acknowledgement that you are a light, to that exact degree do you expose shadow, do you expose anything that is basically taking your bandwidth out of the present moment. But part of the way that I healed from that is to realize what I actually need in terms of food is much more than somebody else, my age, my size, women, I read magazines where, well, I haven't read a magazine in a long time, but I remember reading health magazines where people would say, you have to eat 1,400 calories, blah, blah, blah. That's like healthy. And I eat twice that much and more sometimes. And that's just what I need. I can't compare myself to someone else. I can't compare myself to a scientific study, to what anybody says. It doesn't make any sense. Why would I impose a conceptual virtual reality onto myself? I am reality, not those concepts, right? So if you acknowledge what you actually need, which in my case, in terms of food, is a lot more food than my ego wanted me to need. My ego resisted. That's what took me so long, really, to recover from that experience. I was resisting how much food I need. And when I tracked my calories over the course of the first year of my recovery, I realized that no matter, when I stopped at the end of the day to tally it up, pretty much every day it was the exact same number, which really floored me, because what it told me was, oh my God, my body knows exactly what it needs to heal cellular damage, to repair my immune system, to repair my endocrine system, to repair the vagus nerve, to repair all of these things. It knows exactly how much, and it translates as I am hungry. So now I eat when I am hungry, period. I do not have an external authority on anything, but not food either, right? That used to be something that really stressed me out. I believed that my nature was wrong. I believe that what I require, what I am hungry for, is wrong. And that caused a lot of complexity in my life. It caused relapses in that condition, and it caused, a lot of imbalances in my body. So if you expand that idea, right, that every ill, every complexity, every issue in our life, all of these negative symptoms, right? A lot of them come from ignorance of nature, ignorance of our nature, of our body, of our soul, of our consciousness. How are you in the energy of restricting yourself? What prisons do you have yourself in? What are things that you want to do that you don't do? What are things that you want to say that you don't say? What are emotions that you truly feel that you are not letting yourself acknowledge? Do you want to learn how to draw? Do you want to learn how to paint? Do you want to play around with watercolors? Do you want to invent a whole way of moving your body? I move my body. If somebody were to observe me while I'm working out, I don't even call it working out anymore, they would be weirded out probably. They wouldn't know what they're looking at, because I I just lose it. I lose it. I listen to fun music. I love the energy of celebration. The energy of celebration is a nutriment. It's a nourishment that I know that I require because I imposed such seriousness in my life for so long that a medicine for me is celebration, play. An entire portion of our brain is related to play. Imagine like what happens to the brain, like the operating system, right? The physical expression of the operating system if you deny yourself the fun and the play. And watch out for if you start doing artistic things, but then it takes on the same energy as being a means to an end, to sell something, right? To show off, to validate your ego. Right? The energy, the medicine of play, of dance, of whimsy, of being just completely, take yourself back to your childhood. Did you used to construct things with paper? Did you used to, I don't know, do arts and crafts, make obstacle courses in your backyard? I'm not necessarily saying like become a child again, although maybe I am saying that in some way. Maybe the way that child energy expresses now will be different than back then, maybe not. But how are you restricting your soul? How are you restricting your being? How are you in the energy of restriction? The energy of restriction goes much beyond eating disorders. How am I denying my realization of what I truly desire, the partner that I truly want to have? How am I being seduced by the illusion that I can purchase salvation in the external world, that I can marry into comfort, that I can, have a perfect household, a perfect family, a perfect whatever, and that will make me finally be at ease? How am I selling my soul to an idea? How am I selling my soul to the external world, which doesn't really fundamentally exist, right? We are living in our own mind. And when you, inside of your own mind, really embody self-love, self-acceptance, and the uninhibited expression of soul, the outer world starts to reflect that self-love in a miraculous, I wouldn't call that miraculous anymore, but in incredibly beautiful, harmonic ways. So how do you restrict yourself? How do you restrict your soul? How do you deny how parts of your childhood perspectives actually feel about things? Do not try to be anything. Do not try to be happy or try to be spiritual or try to be like the Buddha or try to be like Jesus. You are that. You are divine. And when you become alive and aware of, right, the energies that are trying to exit your experience by coming up constantly, right, it's an opportunity to dissolve the past so that energy can be recreated as bandwidth for you to play with your intentions, with your creations. What do you want to create in your life? Your dreams are important, right? We're all characters inside of the dreamer's mind. We are the dreamer. I love Joe Dispenza as an amazing example of a person who has really decided to dream a dream, and his dream is remarkable. He has dreamed events of 2,000 people where many people have mystical experiences, where they are proving with science, right, that consciousness is not local to the body, where they are proving things to such an extent that he's being allowed into conventional institutions, he's being allowed into children's hospitals to heal children. Like at the end of his events, he asks the audience, like, how do you like my dream? You are the dreamer. You are not, spirituality is not just about, at least from my perspective, it's not just about being awareness, being the witness, being loving awareness. Loving awareness is expressing as you. I have always loved singing, and do I want to be a professional singer? Not really. But I sing every day, and it makes me so happy because I am so finely attuned to the acoustic nature of reality, to the symphony, to the songs of all of the manifestations of form, right? Everything has a song. Souls have songs. Trees have songs. The spheres, the music of the spheres, you know, there's all these songs. And when I sing, and I sing Ave Maria, or I sing Antanasifati, which is a beautiful hymn, a Kundalini hymn, I feel like such a beautiful, nourishing resonance of this beautiful mother energy that I know is medicine for my soul, because in my perception throughout my life, I never had a very nourishing connection with my mother. But as I nourish myself with song, right, I know myself, and I know that for me, singing is a form of nourishment. As I bring that medicine into my life, my relationship with my mom is getting more and more harmonious, more and more beautiful, and I'm so excited that I'm getting to know her. And like you know, for me, my entire life, death has always been my counselor. Ever since I was a child, when I would get upset at my parents and I would say, you know, they're not going to be around forever. Like, do you really want to be upset at them today? Do you really want that? And like having that still as a constant form of counsel for myself, like one of my greatest desires in life is simply to know the nuclear people in my life as deeply as I can, to know them as deeply as I can, to understand them, to love them. That's my soul. That's the nourishment of my soul. But no spiritual teaching, no spiritual teacher, no influencer, no Instagram psychologist, nobody can tell you what's nourishing to your soul. There are certain universal truths, like, yes, the ground of our being is pure consciousness. And yes, there's the dimension of the soul and the witness. And yes, you know, we perceive unity consciousness through the heart. Yes, these are fundamental aspects of spirituality. But in the realm of radical individuation, which is God becoming you, God being and becoming you, what does that mean for you psychologically, energetically, emotionally, in terms of action? How are you restricting your expression? If you were to ask yourself that question, activate that question, right? Maybe write it down on a piece of paper, connect to your higher self and ask your higher self, how can I bring more love into my life? How can I express you more? You know, a prayer, I don't know if it's from A Course in Miracles or if it's where will you have me go? What will you have me do? What will you have me say? To have that intention, to have that conscious connection with higher self, with soul, and to ask, to be moved by it, and then to be acutely aware of those promptings, you know. And sometimes those promptings are clean your room, you know, dust off your, you know, I dusted off my crystals today, and I have a lot of seashells in my bedroom, and like they were like a little dusty, and so I took them all off. I kind of like washed them off. I really like cleaning. I love making things clean, and just the energy of caring for my environment, it makes me feel good. I love washing dishes. I love, you know, if you decide like I want to feel nurturing today, I want the energy of nourishment, and I want the energy of celebration, right? You pick two medicinal qualities that you know that you need more of in your life, activate them, and then watch how you are pulled to act. And it doesn't have to be some huge peak experience like channeling a book from the Andromeda galaxy or something, which could be cool too, you know. I love channeling. I love connecting to intelligences in the universe, but nothing compares to my own soul. Nothing compares to my own soul and the song of my soul. And if you think of the song of my soul, like let the song of your soul be heard, because the song of your soul is a note in the orchestra of reality, and every time it is expressed without hindrance, right, it's the most maximal service to humanity. And so in a nutshell, you know, the energy of restriction, it really causes a lot of problems, a lot of physical problems, a lot of You know, and it's funny because I was listening to somebody talk about a lot of self-realized masters throughout history and how pretty much all of them are pretty radical or they're seen as radical as compared to society, because society, you know, society is part of the game of this experience that we are born into a homogenized reality, and but that very same pressure is what causes us to individuate, so we can be grateful for it, but also don't be confined by it. You know, the people that have made amazing contributions to this world, and I'm not saying that we all need to make amazing contributions, but the people that have, and the people that we read about, and the people whose teachings were made into religions by egos, right? And you shouldn't impose those religions on yourself either. You are God manifesting. Don't impose, right? Learn from everything that you came from, but don't impose it on top of yourself. But all of those beings, if people were to observe them, they might be called radical. They might be called lunatics. They might be called heretics, right? We do have a heretical, we have a heretic wound, a witch wound. We do, because it is in our collective memory that we get punished for expressing soul. We get punished for acknowledging that we are connected to nature and that nature heals and that the body self-corrects. We get punished for saying that God is inside of us. But really, do we want to live another day believing those things? Sure, things happened and that's in our memory, but do we want to live in the past, or do we want to be here now and be our soul? Because what is more delicious than being the soul in physical reality? Nothing. And there are amazing mystical states of incredible bliss, but the way that you anchor that into your dynamic reality is that you express who you truly are, and you don't have to have a bigger picture of what you're ultimately going to do for the rest of your life. You just have to be always aware. Ask yourself, set the intention. I want to be connected to what I truly desire today, and to the best of my ability, I will follow every single one of those promptings. I will eat when I am hungry. I will feel my emotions. I will not deny how I actually feel about things. If I feel like one of my routines has gotten a little stale and serious, I'll spice it up a little bit. You know, when was the last time you played awesome music when you were cooking a meal? When was the last time that you ran around your neighborhood barefoot with your dog? When was the last time you hula hooped? When was the last time you did anything that made you laugh, right? And not just in the sense of self-deprecating laughter, because I know a lot of people laugh at themselves all day, but I'm talking about play. So just ask yourself these questions. How am I restricting my soul? And you'll start to receive a stream of answers, because you're connected to your soul, and all you have to do is decide to listen to it, and you will receive the promptings. What can I do? What medicinal qualities can I intend to tune to today? Celebration. I love celebration. That's my favorite. Celebration, reverence, appreciation, nourishment, right? Pick some, play with them. Ask yourself, what are some qualities that I could really anchor today? Maybe trust. And just begin to feel those frequencies, right? Call them, use the word, right? Call it by name. Trust. Harmony, like the mathematics of the perfection of life. Start to say words that reflect the energetic qualities that you want to anchor inside of yourself, and then begin to literally anchor them in your body and expand them in your awareness. So I hope I've energized a desire, right, to have your soul be an unbridled expression of the divine. It's the most amazing service that any of us could provide for one another, no matter what that looks like. For some of us, that'll look like, having 4 kids. For some people, it'll look like revolutionizing the institution of, of schooling. For some people, it will be, living a life of quiet reverence in the woods. It's unique to you. And that acknowledgement and expression of that song, right, is the greatest gift that we can give each other. So I hope I've illuminated a little bit about the detriment to ourselves that we believe in restriction, that we believe in limitation, that we believe in conformity, that we believe in homogeny, right? These things are detrimental to the soul and it's right that they are detrimental, because that detriment is the very pressure that inspires evolution, the evolution of ourselves as a human species. I hope you have a good day.